What's up, folks? The crash has arrived. I think next week the crash is going to start, and in this video, I'm going to be breaking down why that is. So, first off, I've been flagging this piece of liquidity here for weeks. And why was this liquidity so significant? Well, it's because that is where the stops have been building up above this high, right? We got a double top there, crash below trend line. Where do people put stops? There. Another double top. There. Breakdown below this trend line. Okay, stops there. Still, we could not get the real crash until we had swept this piece of liquidity, because that is where retail has their stops, which will allow, like, imagine everyone has their stops there. That's where the banks can finally enter. Do we need to sweep these highs here? No, because the liquidity has been positioned here. Now, what I anticipate when we will actually be getting our entry for next week is we will get this kind of week. We start slightly bullishly, sweep liquidity, and then the crash will begin. How far the crash will be, I anticipate to be well, initially, I think definitely we will want to sweep this liquidity. That is the most important. I also think this one is very, very interesting. It's very, very possible on the weekly we go down, tap into this order block, go up. It can also be said that, hey, all the way down there is the standard deviation, and because people went short there, making this whole move the bank block. Um, but for now, I'm gonna put it there. Um, but yeah, very likely we are to crash next week. When we anticipate a entry, a recurring pattern of all previous crashes that I have predicted is we get the breakaway gap. That's when the real move starts. Because of that, partly, I also think we need another liquidity grab. But because we don't get a breakaway gap there, something's telling me this this move here is not the start of a crash. What I anticipate is start next week, probably go down, sweep this low, and then we go up, get a liquidity sweep, uh, there, up there, could even be up here. I don't anticipate that. You'll have to study the intraday. Um, but basically, get a sweep and then the crash begins. Let's go study the past crash on the daily. Um, so same principle here that I mentioned before. Built up all the liquidity above this high. People went short there. People went short there. People went short there. Right. Breakdowns below. The stops were there, not up there. There. Right. Sweep that. What happens? We get a uh, basically they fill up their positions there. Fall comes. And what happens? This is highly interesting, isn't it? Move up, sweep liquidity, and then the crash comes. And that is when we got the breakaway gap. And so that is what I anticipate is going to happen here as well. So um, very possible we go up, sweep that high, and then uh, the real crash begins. Um, yeah, let me know what you think. If you think this is what's going to happen, comment below. If you don't think, let me know. A reverse scenario that I'm looking at is like basically when this is violated is if we break this high. We should not break this high because that would be a break of a bank block. Right, we get this breakdown, we could go short. And so this whole move up here, they went, that's when they started filling up their shorts, right? And so it would be logical for the banks to take out their own stops that they have up there, right? So I don't think that is too likely. Um, I also love the fact that we have this clean inducement on this pattern here. basically we get this trend line here. People go short. So now all the retail traders have been stopped out, right? They went short there upon breaking this support, double bottom here. And then we went up, right? Boom, stopped out. So retail won't want to get in again because they've already taken the trade, taking their big ass loss. They don't want to get in again. So I love that we have that piece of inducement. We might just get it again here. If we do go back up, get some sort of liquidity sweep, which I anticipate. I think we can also study this, what happened here. Where do we build up our liquidity? About that high, right? We couldn't fall until we swept that high. So, and in this instance, standard deviation was down there. So, very, very strong piece. Here it even went down to the 4. I gotta keep an eye on that. Here, I mean, for the standard deviation, it's very interesting thing to study, I think. Uh, Here it was the entire thing, right? Will it be the same here? What I like about this one is like it's such clear inducement. I don't know if this one here is as clear. Like when we get these breaks here, is the liquidity engineer? I mean, on paper, yeah, which would uh, make it this is the likely low, but that's a big ass crash. Um, like that's a big, big move, and I'm not sure we're gonna get that big of a move. I think this right here is where we have been inducing liquidity above this high, which was the main high had to sweep. And so I think that is going to be the, the standard deviation. And we're gonna go back down into this order block, which sweeps all this liquidity. Um, these crashes tends to be pretty rapid. Probably already next week, at least we'll have swept this low there. So be ready, okay? Be ready. Buy your funded. Be ready. Uh, I'm gonna swing trade this as well. It's go time. Good luck.